Howdy, friends. It is I, the Boogieman JT, and welcome back to another episode of the 7-Day Boogie Podcast. If you're listening, thanks for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. Either way, thanks for stopping by. We got a fun episode today. It is still very frozen outside, so the activity levels are low. It's just been super cold since it snowed last, and none of the snow is melted. It has almost just shellacked itself with the, sunshine melting the top layer, turning it into ice. It's just like a snowy disaster outside. It's not fun, fluffy snow anymore. It is demented, evil, compact snow. And I'm not enjoying walking around in it. My sweet dog, Ozzy, does not enjoy walking around. He just kind of sinks. He's not a tall dog necessarily, but he's a big dog just like me, but he doesn't have long legs like me, so he can't really get over some of the dunes in a way that is fun for him. So we just got kind of like a stomped out area in the backyard for him to explore. And he does like to eat the snow. He's got an underbite, and he kind of scoops it up with his teeth when it's a light, playful amount of snow, like an inch or two. But this is probably the most snow that he's seen in his dog life. So he doesn't really know what to do either. We're both going a little stir crazy in the house, just playing tug of war with different stuff. He's waking me up thinking he has to go outside, and then when I get up, he just gets into my bed and steals all the covers, which I love. But it's that weird time of year, the post-winter, we're in the middle of winter, but pre-spring, holidays are over, snow's not fun anymore. Like I said at the end of last episode, I'm ready to shred again. I miss it. I want to cruise on my skateboard and or bike. And running. I haven't been running in a couple weeks. I need to just hit a treadmill or something to keep the cardio up. Can't be huffing and puffing while recording the 7-Day Boogie Podcast. I need a full tank to make this machine whir. So what have we been up to in the week? Like I said, nothing outdoors. Still going to the gym, doing our thing to keep the brain flowing. But not much else other than the same old, right? Video games, movies, TV shows, YouTube documentaries, anything and everything to just not stare out a window and acknowledge how gray and lame the outdoors is right now. Beautiful from through a window, but it's so cold. It's hard to enjoy the winter offerings when it is as cold as it is, and the snow is too big and deep. There's too much of it. So, like I said, ready for the spring, ready to bust out some shorts and walk around in the woods and stuff. But what movies did I watch this week that I want to talk about? I watched a movie that's part of a series that is legendary. And it's gonna start a larger conversation because it is pieces of conversations that I've had with several of my friends, and it's kind of like a microcosm or like a summarization of kind of my thoughts on why some series of movies fall off, right? And I don't want to get too ahead of myself like I do literally every episode, have the XYZ part of the conversation before I even announced that we're talking about the alphabet before the elephant, and I watched Alien 3. Love of my life and we watched Alien 3, and I had not seen Alien 3. I thought that I had seen Alien 3, but I had not. The film that I thought was Alien 3 was actually Alien Resurrection, and I think that I got that crossed in like a Stars Channel cable mix-up when I was growing up. You know, because a lot of the ways that I watched some of these old action movies growing up was just like cable playing them. And then I would be interested because I would see like the last 40 minutes of a movie, Alien 3, for instance, and I would go rent it or ask my parents if they had it or whatever. But I thought that this movie was Alien Resurrection. It's not. Major spoilers coming because I'm going to summarize Alien 3 and then really take out my brain and show it to all of you and express as many of the thoughts as I can tweeze out of there. Alien 3, it like takes place directly after the ending of Alien 2 or Aliens. If you've not seen the Alien trilogy or Alien movies, pause right now, watch the first 3. I'll give you a couple seconds. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed those movies. Alien 2, Aliens, ends with Sigourney Weaver.
Hi, everybody. This is Editing Jordan. I realized while editing this that I kept talking about the comedy guy from Aliens and not the Marine that actually survives at the end. So every time I say funny comedy guy, know that I'm actually talking about the Marine that actually is actually the character I'm talking about. I'm sorry for the mistake. I say it like 75 times in this podcast. I'm sorry.
Her little sidekick for the whole movie. And Newt, the abandoned child that Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley had been taken care of since they found her during the plot of Aliens. So they really like blew up the story of Alien in Aliens. They like really expanded on a lot of things. Alien, the first movie, small setting, just a spaceship and that planet that they're on briefly. Just a couple character, right? Small crew, but like high stakes, right? Like they're exploring unprecedented or explored planets and stuff. They find the alien. It like one alien tears through their whole ship. Aliens, they really blew up the story, like literally just like there's the Marine team now. Bill Pullman, so many like huge machine guns. The guns in Alien sound really cool. The like scope of the movie really blew up, right? Like we learn more about the like Weyland-Yutani industries, why they want the aliens. They discover, they want them as a weapon. The story like really blows up. And like at the end of the movie, Ripley like literally fights the like queen in like a mech suit. So like where do you go? And they 80'd the fuck out of Alien for Aliens. And they like the popularity, the first movie's so good, they really like took it to the next level in Aliens. So they made the smart choice, in my opinion, in Alien 3 to really turn all of that down, way, way down for the third movie. There like aren't any guns in this movie. Ripley does not use a mech suit in this movie. The storyline, basically, the 3 like escape pods at the end of Aliens crash land on a prison colony planet. Sold. Elevator pitch. Sold. Alien on prison planet. I'm in. So this prison planet is unique because there like are no guards, there are no weapons. They're in the middle of space, so there's no escape, right? So that again really shrinks down the scale. They're on this planet. There's no ship. They cannot escape. Their pod, like escape hatch, vessel crashed on this planet, and now they're just hanging out with these cargo pant, flight jacket wearing prisoners on this planet. There's also like, they work in like an iron smelting. It's like a work prison colony, right? So all these like kind of religious culty prisoners, men only, big problem, are on this prison colony planet just being dirty and scrubbing tubes and like doing the aesthetic of Alien. I think is also, I'll say this up front, like my favorite sci-fi setting, where everything is just like wires and makes sense, and it's like bulky, and it's just like that little tweak of like current technology that makes it sci-fi, right? I've always been more into like people wearing big bulky sci-fi, like Back to the Future outfits, rather than like the clone people in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, where it's like the sleek silver white jumpsuit style Aeon Flux type future. More on the Alien side, where it's like that kind of crunchy synth pop style of a future, if that makes sense. But the visuals of this movie are really cool. So unfortunately, when Ripley's vessel crash lands, Newt, the child from Aliens, doesn't make it. Annoying comedic relief guy doesn't make it. That is sad, and that is a big move, because they spent basically the entire plot of Aliens bringing these two characters close to Ripley and like establishing how important they are. 3 seconds into Alien 3, they're both dead. Ripley's the only one left on this prison colony, which I think has like a pastor, a doctor, a jailer, and then the rest of the guys are like worker prisoners. So there are no weapons. They have like these sparkler torch things and like a couple fire axes. So when Ripley finds out that there's an alien on the planet, she basically realizes that they're cooked as can be. Unfortunately, there is an alien on this planet. It escaped on the vessel with them, and also unfortunately, there's a lot of unfortunately's in this movie. It hatches into a dog. Sad. The face hugger on the ship takes over a dog. Very sad. But that creates both something cool and a huge problem for this movie. The alien that hatches out of the dog is like a dog alien hybrid. That is cool. That's something we haven't seen before. There is a reason we haven't seen that before, which I will get to shortly. So you got Ripley on the prison planet with all these prisoners. The one guy that she kind of forms this like relationship with, this like eyedropper of romance that they throw into the movie. The guy that played Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones and the villain in The Last Action Hero. He's in this movie. He's like kind of a nice guy, but you find out that he, as a medical professional, caused the death of several patients. That's why he's in the jail. There's this whole like dramatic reveal of that because he is kind of hiding that from Ripley during the movie. Immediately after that happens, the full-grown dog alien grabs him and explodes his brain. People start to obviously kind of understand that there's an alien on board. For a while, they don't believe Ripley for some reason. They just think that there's like a murderer, because it's a prison and some of the guys are there for murder. But they basically start formulating plans that all go really, really poorly. Their first plan is to just fill up the entire tunnel system of the prison with gasoline, oil, and anything flammable that they can find, basically. And then they're going to trap the alien down there, somehow themselves not getting exploded in the process. Shockingly, that goes horribly wrong. Okay, also shockingly, the bug salesman from James and the Giant Peach is in this movie too. The Solomon Kane friend from Solomon Kane. The old man that starts the whole quest is also in this movie. He's got a great career. What an actor that guy is. He's in all kinds of classics. But that plan goes horribly wrong. Shocking. The alien scares a guy, rips him out of a tunnel. He drops his torch, slow motion torch scene as it strikes the oil. And then I think 10 of the crew of the 20-person crew in the prison are exploded instantly. Their next plan is related to the fact that Ripley is not being attacked by the aliens. Why is that? In the hospital scene, when the doctor gets brain exploded, the alien walks right up to Ripley and does a teeth move and then runs away. And that is something that you question, because when in the alien, this is going to come up again later, when in the Alien series are people in the same room as an alien and then walk away? Almost never. Pretty much never. Unless they jettison it out of an airlock. But she doesn't have one of those in the hospital. So why is the alien not instantly killing her, thus deciding just to drag the doctor guy away and eat him? After the fire explosion scene, Ripley is really feeling bad. Not only because her plan killed half of the people trying to help her, but she's also feeling sick. So she convinces one of the guys in the crew to take her to the med bay and do a scan. Dun, dun, dun. She's got an alien in her stomach. She gets infected by the alien. So that is why the alien did not attack her, because doing that would stop its whole purpose, which is to rip and tear and grow. So he did the ripping and tearing. The baby will grow and Ripley will continue the alien species. When she finds that out, basically, she decides that, or she knows the alien won't kill her. While that thing is inside of her, the alien will not kill her, but she only has a brief period of time. So she basically comes up with another grand plan, because the prison conveniently is also an iron smelting plant. They are going to trap the alien and then pour hot smelted onto the iron. Onto the alien. Woo! Are you following me? So they trap the alien in this corridor system. That's the climax of the thing, right? Ripley knows she's got the alien inside of her. They need to destroy the BigDawg alien and then she is going to destroy herself, essentially, to prevent any more aliens from being loose. Wayland Yutani, the company that wants the aliens, has found out that she is not only alive, but has been infected, because they got the medical information from the medical bay. They know that she has an alien inside of her. So they are immediately sending a med ship to take her back and get the alien. Foolishly, some of the people in the prison are they're coming to save us. And then, Ripley really lays it down and is they will set all of us on fire and shoot us into space just to get their hands on the alien. They have killed people over and over and over again in order to get their hands on this alien. And those people worked for them. Why would they not kill just a prison planet to get this alien? And those guys are that's a pretty good point. So they decide to help her. One guy kind of goes off and tries to meet Wayland Yutani and still foolishly thinks that they're going to help him. So the chase me down the corridor plan works for the most part. One of the prisoners heroically sacrifices himself for some reason, even though Ripley said that she was going to. So that the alien gets schmelted upon with the hot iron. And then there's a really cool part where the alien jumps out of the liquid iron, and then they turn on the steam system, and it's the sprinkler system. It's the classic. What happens when you rapidly cool something that's very hot? It explodes. So the alien explodes. That's freaking sweet. Then Wayland Yutani shows up. The guy from the prison brings Wayland Yutani. He's they're going to help us. totally like drinks the Wayland juice and is in believing them, gets tricked. Ripley's like, no way are you getting this alien. Like there's no sense in doing this. This is all pointless. She hits a Terminator 2 and like does a back swan dive into the furnace of the plant. While that's happening, the alien like bursts out of her stomach and she's like, no way, and has a Smeagol moment and grabs so like Terminator 2, Smeagol collab, Ellen Ripley destroying the object of power and themselves for the greater good. Movie's over, right? Main character sacrifices themselves for the greater good, destroying the aliens. Maybe Wayland Yutani can like go out and just keep trying. But as far as the Ellen Ripley story is concerned, that's a bow, folks. That's how you put a bow on a story. Until they didn't. Until they made 74 more Alien movies. And that is what we're going to talk about for most of the rest of this episode. This is going to be like a 9-hour episode. So, what happened? They ended the series. That should have been it. That movie wasn't people's favorite movie for a couple reasons. 1 and 2 reasons are they killed the cool characters from Aliens that people liked. They killed the funny guy and they killed the kid. That is a big no-no for like fan love immediately in the movie. The second problem, I think, and something that really holds Alien 3 back is the CGI. I mentioned the cool like dog hybrid that they create in this movie. The alien embryo will kind of just mimic whatever it hatches out of, right? So because in the previous movies it had only hatched out of a human, the alien was a person in an alien suit. It was right there. We could see the alien. It wasn't CGI because they couldn't really do justice to the creature, probably with the CGI, obviously with the CGI that was available at the time. So there was a lot of like people in suits and like some puppeteers and miniatures and stuff in the original Alien movies that really like lended to how cool the movie looked. This movie, I think, got away from that a little bit. There are still plenty of scenes where the alien is a person in a suit grabbing someone. Those are the coolest alien scenes. But because the alien is like a smaller dog-shaped alien, anytime you see the full body alien, it's like a bad CGI alien. And there is one scene when they're trying to trap it in the like corridors leading to the iron plant that it is like a JPEG that someone is just like scrolling around on the screen. It is some of truly the most like jarring and pull you out of the immersion of the movie CGI that I've ever seen. It also, if you pay attention, leads to anytime you actually see someone being the alien in a suit, it's only like chest up because they can't do the legs because they're dog legs. So anytime it's a person, like it'll like turn around a corner and it's a real person in a suit, but it's just their arms and their face and they're like, yeah. And then it runs away in CGI. So I think that was an issue, was them getting away from the like original design and not really being able to like match the visuals of the original movies because they couldn't put someone in a dog suit. They did try to put dogs in alien suits, and there are some like really funny, cute dogs in alien prosthetics behind the scenes pictures that are out there. But they didn't really end up using those. They just ended up using some like pretty bad CGI. So I think that was where a lot of people kind of fell off, or why maybe Alien 3 got some like bad reception. Now, I think that the series should have stopped there. And I like Alien Covenant and the Prometheus movies. I think that stories and the main crux of where the Alien series for me loses its power is the consistency of power, right? How strong the alien is, the alien being this heartless, mindless, like worker ant killing machine is the crux of what makes it so scary, right? It like cannot be reasoned with. And the only reason it doesn't kill Ripley in the third movie is because she is like going to create more aliens, right? So that's that like hive mind, the colony mindset that the drone aliens have that I think is lost. That power is lost in Alien Romulus, which is a movie that I very much disliked. And while I can like pick several things and a lot of the scenes from Alien Romulus that I didn't like, the main problem that I have with that movie is that they weaken the monster too much. Again, in Alien, there's one alien. And even though it's only going up against like a crew of scientists and people running the ship that they're on, the Nostromo, it wrecks everybody. There is like no hope. And, you know, Ripley only gets out by outsmarting it just barely. And of course, as we know, there's more movies, so that didn't solve it. The alien continues, right? In Aliens, they beef up the stakes, like I said earlier, by bringing all these Marines and explosions and machine guns, and that then there are more aliens. But again, they still lose. They have like a dedicated fighting team, an assault team going in to take care of these xenomorphs and to try to either capture one or to get some data on them. And pretty much everyone in that movie dies just to a handful of aliens. Alien 3, the movie we just talked about, one alien takes out an entire prison of people. It's only like 30 people, and some of them die to the foolishness of the first fire plan. But that single beast is so formidable that it takes everyone working together to destroy it. Where Alien Resurrection or where Alien Romulus lost me is they weakened the alien to the point where a bunch of like scavenging space teens really are able to handle and escape these aliens more than once. And again, multiple times the alien, there's a part where it just kind of looks menacingly at the teens and then runs away. So you movie brain wise, that movie looks really cool. It sounds very cool. There are a lot of aesthetic choices that they made that are like reminiscent of the original Alien movies. And like they nailed that. I think that even some of the characters in the new movie are like pretty good and their performances are good. It is the story that it really pulls me out. It is the lack of power that the aliens have in that movie that really like took me out of it. And I think that is something that like is important to think about. I think it happens a lot in a lot of series just for convenience. Something else that's not necessarily maybe like the power inconsistency, but like the inconsistency of time and distance can also be something that can like pull people out of the immersion of a show. Game of Thrones is an example of that, where like season 1, it would take them entire episodes, the entire series, to get to like the next kingdom or from one place to another, where towards the end of that show, people are just appearing wherever they need to serve the like story that's being told. And I think that a lot of, again, consistency or inconsistency rather can really pull people out of shows and out of TV, or out of movies and TV shows, that should just end. I'm down with a movie that is like Alien, but isn't Alien. If the aliens are weaker than the aliens in Alien, you know what I mean? Like if there was a teen scavenging romp and it was called like Alien, but they spelled it different and the aliens were different and those teens had a chance against, but just because of the pre-established danger, they go back on that essentially by allowing the threat to be minimized, just for the sake of storyline. That is really the argument for me, is keep your monsters scary. If an alien, the xenomorph, is just basically like a coyote, I don't fear that thing. But if it's like a 7-foot tall beast monster, I fear that thing. Two video games that are alien related that I have played that I think balance the consistency of power very well. Alien Isolation is a first-person survival horror game that I think is the closest you can feel to being in the first Alien movie. You are, like, I think Ripley's daughter in that game, and you are exploring a rundown space station that you basically, like, and it is, if an alien sees you, you're done. You are spending the entire game in fear of what's around you, hearing it through the vents, thinking it's going to basically sneak up on you at any time, because it is going to. I died 1,000,000 times in that game, and that game is tense from the first moment to the end because of the strength of the monster. You are never safe in that game. It eventually will find you in hiding spots. It learns where you go, and you are, in fact, like, less and less safe as the game goes on. Another Alien video game that I played a lot of, Aliens Fireteam. That is more of like a Space Marine power fantasy, right? Like Aliens. The scale is way up, but they understood the different levels of alien enough, from the like smaller aliens that you can take on because you're in a team, until you fight the queen, and the like larger soldier aliens. Basically, I forget what the like really heavy aliens are called, but there are different levels of aliens, there are different types of aliens, and the sheer number of the weaker aliens keep that power consistent. Also, like, if you're alone in a room with one alien, you can still die. If you get separated from your team, you're fresh meat for these aliens, essentially, throughout most of that game. I think that those two games balanced the power consistency, and they understood like what the story was that they were telling. One is like, again, you're on the alien fire team. You are trained to go fight aliens. In the other, you don't know they're there until you see the alien. You are completely unmatched by this apex predator. And I think that, again, is where the Alien movies struggled, and in my opinion, where the story gets kind of wonky towards the newer stuff. And I need to finish the show that just came out too, because I was enjoying it, but I know that there are a lot of ups and downs in that show from what I've read. No spoilers. So that is the lengthy movie discussion of the week. Let me know what you think about my consistency of power argument for the Alien movies. My oldest brother, Ben, this is for you, man. I love you. We have gone 15 rounds on liking and hating Alien Romulus. And this is my concise, rambling 40-minute argument as to why that movie just didn't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? That's the movie segment of the week. I'd love to know other movies that you think the inconsistency of power shook up a little bit. You know, like, what was something that you watched where it maybe in a series, the monster just isn't really that tough by the end, you know, and it kind of pulls away from the scary, which you don't want to do with your monsters. We've got an exciting Gamer Zone segment for you coming up from the Frog Bard. Let's take a look. I have played almost 300 hours of Arc Raiders so far, and while I'm sure your reaction to that is, damn, go outside, I can't. Okay, it's like 7 degrees and there's a foot of snow on the ground. So that's not the point of this video. What is the point of this video is that I have all of that time in this game so far, and I only want more. There's a trend and a tendency online in review videos to just steamroll through a game and break it down to like an Excel spreadsheet of its most basic components, turning the game basically into just a set of instructions to win instead of actually playing the game. And that bums me out because when I see videos that are like, always loot in this route, always do this, always bring this gear for this specific highly optimized run in this specific situation. And while I completely understand the need for like highly detailed content in a game that is so full of detail like Arc Raiders, I feel like that cuts the enjoyment of the game down tremendously. Like I said, I have hundreds of hours in this game already. I have killed like every type of arc. I have completed all of the missions. I have wiped my account. I am prepping to wipe my account again. I've been kind. I've been evil. I have done the Raider Boogie more times than I can count. And I am still loving this game. For me, it's all about finding the fun. And I have seen videos online that are like, I have crunched the numbers and it's actually not worth killing the robots in the game about killing robots for these reasons. And like, immediately stop right there. What are you doing? This is the game. It's a video game about killing robots and scavenging. That's really it. There's like, no, you don't win money for being really good at this game. You might one day, but like right now, it's early days. We are not really even at like the full extent, I think, of what the developers have for this game. So like my advice is just, if you're not making content about grinding in this game, slow down. Do some funny stuff, you know? Try wacky plays that you don't think that you would have done in just like a normal looting and shooting type of run. Team up with people. Go and just play instruments in the game. Like, the developers have added so many things in this game that like what you do is really up to you. I like watching high level play just as much as the next person. What I'm saying is that don't put that pressure on yourself. The data will be there. The data miners will always be hard at work. And if that's their thing, high five to them. I hope you're having fun. That's really all I want to say. Is that I hope you're having fun doing what you're doing, because I'm still having fun doing what I'm doing, which is a silly Arc Raiders lifestyle of just chaos and wackiness. Again, I think this is a tough conversation to have in like the making videos about video games space, because of the like lightning fast media cycle. It demands information at such a breakneck pace that includes gaming, that like there is no time to really, sit back and smell the roses in Speranza, because you're too busy feeding the cycle. So like that, I think is really, really a larger conversation about video games, video game review media, and like really media in general, is just like the pace that we're consuming everything, and the pace at which things need to like be broken down and ingested. So again, to reiterate, I just have fun playing video games. That's like the whole point of this channel, is like sharing things that I think are fun, hoping that you're either enjoying the things I'm suggesting or having fun yourself in literally any positive way. And I have the benefit of my reviews basically just being vibes. Did I like the vibes of this game? Yes or no? And then I get to move on. So like, I don't have the pressure. I have not put the pressure on myself to like break and decode all of the information in these games. Because that's not where the fun is for me. I like to know that information, but to be the one sifting, I'm no sift for me. I will just be blowing things up and running around playing the flute. Keep it fun, folks. That's the moral of today's gamer story, is that if something you're grinding towards, if you take a step back and you just think, hey, Am I having fun? Yes or no? That's my suggestion. Resident Evil's coming out. I know I'm going to have fun playing that game. Maybe some streaming. There might be some Frogbard 7-Day Boogie streaming. We're still trying to figure that out. But as always, thanks for stopping by the Gamer Swamp. Back to you, Boogieman. Thank you very much, Frogbard. Your gamer insights are just second to none. What can I say? That's pretty much going to do it for this week's episode. I do want to mention I was on a very good podcast recently. My dear friends, Spencer and Matheson, they record the #1 podcast recorded on a balcony. And they had me on as a guest. And we had a silly good time. That podcast is called When's Lunch. I'm going to link it in the description of the video and of the episode on Spotify and iTunes. If you have not already listened to When's Lunch, check it out. Because if you like this type of stuff, you're going to love When's Lunch because it's just good vibes, funny times, goofball type behavior. They've got great guests on there, and that includes me. So check that out. If you're watching this and you liked it, then like it, throw a comment on there, join the discussion. I always love talking to people in the comments about my little topics that I bring up in the episodes. So if you've got a movie or a game you want to talk about, throw a comment down and we'll talk about it. How about that? Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, send this to someone that you love. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Like and comment on Spotify. Follow us on iTunes or wherever else you get your podcasts. This has been the 7-Day Boogie. Thank you for stopping by. I love ya. Mwah.